Welcome back, everyone. So this is going to be a pretty crazy weekend set. Already we started off the first day
They both did?
with having to replace a tire that had popped on the trailer for the boat. Not only that, we were having trouble with the engines. One of them kind of stopped working. There was some, what we suspected to be water in the fuel.
Ooh.
So when life gives you lemons, what do? You go and enjoy a sandwich and chips.
Mixing.
So since we were drifting with no real direction, I just said screw it, we might as well be in the water. You never know what can swim by. So pretty much I was drifting over sand, some grass patches, and small spots like that. Thing is, the problems for this day weren't limited to the boat. I also had a lot of GoPro problems. It was still fun to at least be in the water and on the water while we were waiting for a towboat to get to us. But by then I actually drifted over a patch of grass where there was a red grouper I had shot, but my GoPro didn't want to work for some reason. So we had the red grouper and we just pretty much pumped and threw all the water out as much as we could. So it was only one side that ended up filling up a lot.
Still at an angle?
There were several problems going on. But yeah, so pretty much it was a nice day, but it was tiring. I woke up at 3:30, 3:45 to get there, and I didn't go to sleep till about midnight because I had to deal with everything. I was running around everywhere. So right now it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm on my way to do a beach dive, so that's a good 4 or 5 hours total. Hopefully, if not, I'll be even more tired. And I got another dive tomorrow, but tomorrow's just free diving training, and I'm exhausted. Yesterday was a fiasco. I was supposed to go on my friend's boat. We're gonna hit up this good wreck, and pretty much what ended up happening is we thought it was like water in the fuel because one engine went down and the second one went down, but they're separate fuel tanks. What ended up really happening once we got towed for 3 hours, dealt with the boat and everything, was that the fuel gauge apparently has something broken in it and it's not showing the right amount of fuel. So we left thinking we had about 20 gallons in each tank. So we had no gas. But I managed to get a grouper. It was Murphy's Law all day. We started off with a flat tire, then went on to one engine failing and the second one failing. And eventually we drifted over a pretty nice patch of reef because we were over sand for most of the time. And I'm down there, I'm sitting, I'm looking at all these mangroves, looking at all these muttons, trying to see if there's a big one. And I look around, I look to my left, I see a grouper, all right, I look to my right, I'm like, a grouper. So I look to my left again, and the grouper's just staring at me. And now, so I took that red grouper, it was about 24, 25 inches. Then the boat started sinking because the left bilge pump stopped working. I'm gonna try to make the most of this. We're gonna take my friend Brandon, my friend Daniel, and Brandon's bringing a new Sparrow, so a new generation. Hopefully he gets into it and doesn't get scared by how far we swim offshore and the possibility for sharks and stuff. But if he doesn't, then we got a new dive buddy down here. So it should be a pretty nice outing today. This whole weekend is flat, so let's go and see if I get anything. And if I do, hopefully the GoPro doesn't die this time. I didn't even get the shot of the grouper, but yeah, we'll see this. So now here we are, day 2 of the weekend, starting off on pitch black with a lot of bait fish swimming around. I ended up finding this small little fish just floating on the surface. I don't know if something was wrong with its, you know, bladder, or if something was wrong, you know, with, I don't know, even if its tail. Whatever, he was just floating at the surface, so I brought him back down. Tried to put him under a rock so he wouldn't float back up, and look at this. Little guy just goes up. I hope I didn't do any more harm, but I tried to be as cautious as I could with this. At a certain point, you just have to let nature be nature.
Yeah.
So these are ledges that run east and west, actually contradictory to the usual north and south ones I find. And aside from finding hogfish here, we usually have a decent chance of finding lobster. I accidentally touched his antenna when I was going around the back. I should have just swooped in, but hey, it all works out in the end if you have long arms. And so just like that, we had our first keeper of the day.
God damn. Bro, this one was so deep, I had to put half my body in a cave. What's up, Brandon? There's some lobster around here. We're gonna hit up the buoys after this. Hey, nice to meet you, Jay. So yeah, man, there's a couple ledges here with lobster in them, but further north, there's more ledges with more lobster and other stuff. Oh yeah, finally got my first keeper of the season. Huh? Oh, I got you, man. No worries. We got 3 flags with us, so we're safe. Thank you. So once we anchor up on those buoys over there, you can chill on the float as much as you want. All right, let me get this off.
That was a long shot on that fish. This specific gun I use has a very thin shaft that flies. Right now we were trying to plan our trajectory because we were seeing how the current was taking us. It was drifting in one direction, and luckily we split up the cars in 2 different parking lots so that we could easily go back to the other one depending on where
100%.
the current took us.
So I'm saying we go down these buoys and just drift back. You good with that? We'll hop in my car and I'll drive to yours. Let's keep diving all these areas and just see what we get. For sure. I gave him one of my lobsters. I know, man. But he started throwing up, so. You know how that goes.
So pretty much the two buddies that came a little later on, Brandon and his friend Jay, that was his first time diving, and he ended up pushing himself a bit too hard, swimming out with us and trying to dive with us, that he started not feeling well. So Brandon went back to shore with him. I gave them, I think, 2 lobsters, and I just kept about my day with all the fish. And the nurse sharks were incredibly feisty this day. And just like that, nurse shark was right there before I even knew it.
Daniel!
The hogfish was a little wedged in there, so I needed to breathe. Ideally, my buddy would have been right next to me to help me, but he was only a small shot away, and within less than a minute, he was right on me to help me. Problem is with this current, you know, you never know where it's going to push you, but this guy did not want to let go. And I immediately put that fish out of its misery. I mean, that was that was unfortunate, pretty much. Already I could tell that this one was going to put up a bit of a fight. I mean, he was very skittish, but like all lobster, if they don't find a lucky hole that goes too deep in, you can reach in and grab them. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much use all of the lobster. I'll use the tails right off the bat for tacos or just, you know, basic stuff. But don't throw out the heads because you can make amazing stock with that. These mackerels came in for a quick peek, but they were so large. I mean, they were the largest mackerels I'd seen that day, so I was really excited. But unfortunately, they didn't bother coming in.
Yo, did you see that? Did you see that? Spanish, this big. So they came after my flasher. I just dropped in, they came.
So this shot I'm going to put in slow motion along with zooming in because I do not know what the hell happened here. I mean, it was lined up and the shaft just went straight down. So sometimes the snare is a better option than using your hands. Your hands can be pretty aggressive, you know, especially when you're not sure if it's a pregnant lobster or not. In this instance, as soon as I noticed, I ended up letting it go. But, you know, you don't usually know until it's in your hand unless you have a good point of view from underneath. Just like that, with a simple open, lobster's back, putting out babies. I ended up finding this weird. I don't know what it was. It looked like from part of a washing machine, really. But I hope you guys liked today. It was a crazy weekend to go through. I was exhausted. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.